Good afternoon to all the EAPCET aspirants. This is your Prasanna Ma'am from NEET WORLD. So, yes, in our previous session, we have started the major chapter from core botany, that is morphology of flowering plants, wherein definitely there will be 2 to 3 questions in your final EAPCET examination 2026, of which we have covered the root and its modifications, especially the regions of root. And today we are going to cover up the stem, its introduction, main functions of stem, modifications of stem, underground, subaerial and aerial, and then leaf, its structure, leaf types and phyllotaxy, lastly leaf modifications. With today's class, we will be finishing off the vegetative characteristics from the chapter morphology of flowering plants. So, look into this carefully, like how we have observed during the time of seed germination, radicle which grows positively geotrophic will give rise to root. Same way, the plumule which grows positively phototrophic, plumule which grows positively phototrophic will give rise to shoot. Fine. Plumule gives rise to shoot, radicle gives rise to root. This is clear, right? What are the characteristic features of shoot system? Shoot system is nothing but the ascending part of the plant axis. Unlike root, shoot bears leaves, flowers, fruits, and it also has nodes and internodes. This is positively phototrophic and negatively geotrophic. And then here you see it bears nodes and internodes. What is a nodal region, Nodal region is that point from where auxiliary buds or leaves will arise, and internode is the region which is present in between two nodes. Stems also bear terminal buds and auxiliary buds. What is a terminal bud? Terminal bud is also called as apical bud, which grows at the tip of the shoot. Terminal bud or apical bud is at the tip of the shoot. Lateral bud or auxiliary bud is grown at the axial region. What is the axial region? The upper portion of the stem and leaf will make an angle over here. That angle is called as axil. Bud which arises from this axial region is called as axillary bud, which is also known as lateral bud. This gives rise to lateral shoot and branch. Clear, right? And then young stem is usually green in color, where later it becomes woody and dark brown. Young stem is always green in color, later it becomes woody and dark brown. This is because of secondary growth. Clear, right, Next, functions of the stem. What are the major functions or main functions of the stem? This bears leaves, flowers and fruits. This we know. Leaves, fruits and storage organs. This will, from leaves, what are the things that are being conducted? Stem majorly acts as the conducting region or conducting portion, wherein from roots it conducts water and minerals to leaves, fruits and storage organs, and from leaves it conducts photosynthesis, that is food material like sucrose or sugars. Sucrose or sugars, these are photosynthetes which are being transferred or transported from source to sink. This is being transported from source to sink. Source will be mature leaves and sinks will be fruit, storage organs and roots. This will be sink. And xylem will always transfer of water and minerals through xylem is always unidirectional. Transfer of photosynthetes or transport of photosynthetes is multidirectional, as it is from source to sink points. So these are the major functions of the stem, and most important function is this majorly provides the mechanical support to the plant body. Now, to those plants which have additional functions other than the main functions of the stem. So, for those functions the adaptations are done. As such, we have 3 types of adaptations. 3 types of stem modifications based on the plant adaptations. Okay, what are those 3 types of stem modifications? First is underground stem modification, second will be subaerial stem modification, third is aerial stem modification. Okay, so first underground stem modification, we have 4 types under that ma. What is that? Stem tuber, rhizome, corm and bulb. These are the 4 underground stem modifications. Next, subaerial stem modifications, if you see, runner, stolon, offset and sucker. These are the subaerial stem modifications. Aerial stem modifications that we need to go through are stem tendrils, thorns, phylloclades, cladophylls and bulbils. Fix this flow chart in your mind. At the end, after dealing with each type of modification, at the end we will write all the examples in the single slide itself. Take the screenshot of that and that is enough for stem modifications. Before that, which part of the stem is getting modified, in what way you have to know. Okay. So, first let us go through the underground stem modifications. The main purpose of underground stem modification is storage of food material, and this acts as organs of perennation to tide over unfavorable conditions. Means during unfavorable conditions, these organs will act as what? Organs of perennation, okay, which survives in the unfavorable conditions, okay, which restores in the unfavorable conditions, and this also promotes vegetative propagation. All underground stem modifications will bear nodes, internodes, buds and scaly leaves. Okay, all underground stem modifications will bear nodes, internodes, buds and scaly leaves. These are the key characteristic features for underground stem modification. First is stem tuber. What is stem tuber? Stem tuber is terminal portion of lateral underground stem. Okay, terminal portion of lateral underground stem will get swollen in the stem tuber. Okay, terminal portion of lateral underground stem will get swollen. For example, potato, and you can also take Helianthus tuberosus, Jerusalem artichoke, Helianthus tuberosus, Helianthus tuberosus, Jerusalem artichoke is the common name. This is the scientific name or botanical name. Next, second is which part is modifying is important. In stem tuber, what is modifying ma? Terminal portion of lateral branch is getting swollen. Rhizome, this grows, rhizome type of underground stem grows parallel to the soil surface or horizontal to the soil surface. This grows parallel or horizontal to the soil surface, and this is branched, rhizome is branched. Best example is ginger, common name is zingiber, turmeric which is kursuma. Okay, ginger and turmeric are the best examples for rhizome. So, I hope first 2 underground stem modifications are clear, Noma. Any doubts, you can drop a message in the chat box. Next, third type of underground stem modification is corm. Okay, corm, this grows vertically beneath the soil surface. Corm grows vertically beneath the soil surface. This is usually unbranched. Corm is unbranched and this grows vertically beneath the soil surface. Best example is Zaminkanth, Amorphophallus and Colocasia. These are the best examples for corm. Zaminkanth and Colocasia. Zaminkanth, its name is Amorphophallus. Next is bulb. Here in bulb, the stem gets reduced or disc shaped. Okay, the stem is reduced and it is disc shaped. Covering the stem or this bud, you have many concentric scaly leaves. Concentric scaly leaves. Okay, and the bud and scaly leaves together called as the stem which is reduced and disc shaped. This is shoot bud. Surrounding this, all the concentric scaly leaves are present. This forms a tunic. Okay, this forms a tunic. As such, you have 2 types of tunics: simple tunic and compound tunic. Simple tunic and compound tunic. Simple tunic example is onion. Compound tunic you can take garlic. Okay, simple tunic is onion, compound tunic is garlic. Clear, right? So, this is the complete description about corm and bulb, right ma? Next, subaerial stem modification. So, a clear gist from underground stem modifications, 4 types we have learned. First is stem tuber. Stem tuber, lateral branch will get swollen at the end. Best examples are potato and Helianthus tuberosum. Second is rhizome, wherein it is branched and the underground stem grows parallel or horizontal to the soil surface. Examples include what? Ginger and turmeric. And third is corm. Corm grows vertical, it is vertically grows beneath the ground. Okay, corm grows vertically beneath the ground and it is usually unbranched. Best examples for corm include Zameenkand amorphophallus and Colocasia. And bulb stem is reduced and disc shaped, where around this reduced and disc shaped shoot you will have concentric scaly leaves. Okay, it has concentric scaly leaves. Examples include onion, garlic and lily. Okay, and here what is a tunic? Tunic is nothing but the stem bud which is reduced, along that concentric scaly leaves which are present, together it forms a tunic. As such, we have 2 types of tunics. One is simple tunic and the second is compound tunic. Simple tunic example is onion, compound tunic example will be garlic. These are 4 types of underground stem modifications. Just in a single minute, just go through this. If you are having any doubt, you just ask me ma, just for 2 minutes. Here we go. Here we go with subaerial stem modifications. Important again, subaerial stem modifications, we have 4 types to exercise. One is runner, second is offset, stolon and sucker. 4 types of subaerial stem modifications. First is runner, where elongated prostrate branches with long internodes will go. Okay, these are the elongated prostrate branches with long internodes. They spread into new niches and form new plants. When older plant parts die, they spread into new niches and they form new parts of the plant. Okay, or new plants. They will spread into new niches. So, roots will arise at the nodal regions. Roots will arise at the nodal regions and that gives rise to a new plant. What are the key features that you have to remember with runner? These are the elongated prostrate branches with long internodes. They spread into newer niches when older plant parts die and roots arise at the nodes. Okay. Examples for runner include oxalis and grasses. Okay. Oxalis and grasses, these are the examples of runner. Next you see ma, offset. What is offset? A lateral branch with just one internodal length is called as offset. Okay, lateral branch with one internodal length is called as offset. Each node will bear rosette of leaves and tuft of shoot. Okay, each nodal point will bear rosette of leaves and tuft of roots at the base. Best examples include aquatic plants like Pistia and Eichhornia. Okay, aquatic plants like Pistia and Eichhornia. What are the key features that you have to remember with offset type of subaerial stem modification? It just has one internodal length and at each node you have rosette of leaves and tuft of roots. Okay, and at the base, this is at the base of discoid stem. What is the stem shape here? Discoid stem. Examples include aquatic plants like Pistia and Eichhornia. And then you see ma, stolon. Stolon, wherein a slender lateral branch, here a slender lateral branch will arise from the base of the main axis. Okay, slender lateral branch will arise from the base of the main axis. This lateral branch, after growing aerially for some time, this arches downwards and touches the ground. Okay, arches downwards and touches the ground. Best example is Nerium and Jasmine. These are the examples of Stolon. What you have to remember over here is the slender lateral branch which grows beneath the ground. This touches the ground and arches upwards. Touches the ground and arches upwards. Okay, that is Stolon type of modification. Examples include Nerium and Jasmine. Next is sucker. Sucker, the lateral branch that originates from basal and underground portion of the main stem. Okay, sucker, where the lateral branch originates from the basal and underground portion of the main stem. This grows horizontally beneath the ground and comes out obliquely upwards, giving rise to leafy shoots. This comes out obliquely upwards, giving rise to leafy shoots. Okay, so how can you describe this sucker, ma? This is the lateral branch which grows beneath the ground, and then this grows obliquely upwards, which gives rise to leafy shoots. What is the key difference between Stolon and sucker? In Stolon, the slender lateral branch will arise from the base, it grows underground and then obliquely bends upwards. But here in the sucker, the lateral branch will originate from the basal portion of the underground stem. This grows beneath the soil, okay, and then comes obliquely upwards. But here it just touches the ground, whereas in sucker that grows underground. Okay, and here in the sucker modification you can also see underground stem modification, that is rhizome. Best example is banana, where you can see both the type of modification, sucker and rhizome. Okay, examples include for sucker chrysanthemum, pineapple and banana. In banana though you can see two types of modifications, rhizome and sucker. Okay, just a small difference beta. In Stolon though the slender lateral branch will just touch the ground and arches upwards. In sucker it grows beneath the ground and then grows obliquely upwards. Clear, right? So here what are the examples of Stolon? Nerium and Jasmine. What are the examples of sucker? Chrysanthemum, pineapple and banana. Okay, these are the subaerial stem modifications. I hope subaerial stem modifications are clear to you. What are those we have learned? 4 types of subaerial stem modifications. First is runner. Examples include oxalis and grasses. Okay, second is what, ma? Offset, pistia and ecornia. Next is Stolon, jasmine and Nerium, and last sucker, which is chrysanthemum, pineapple and banana. Remember all the 4 examples. Now aerial stem modifications. First aerial stem modification we are going to learn is stem tendrils. Okay, stem tendrils, we have 2 types of stem tendrils. Remember one thing, be it stem tendrils or thorns, which are aerial stem modifications, which part of the stem is modified? If that is your question, answer should be axillary bud or terminal bud is modifying either to tendril or to thorn. Okay, axillary bud or terminal bud. Bud regions will be modified to tendrils or thorns. So here if you see terminal bud is modified into a tendril, that is observed in grapevines, and axillary bud is modified to tendril observed in gourds like cucumber, pumpkin and watermelon. Okay, terminal bud modifying grapevines, auxiliary bud modified to tendril gourds like cucumber, pumpkin and watermelon. Slender spirally coiled structures. What are tendrils? These are slender spirally coiled structures. They support weak and tender stem. Okay, tendrils will support weak and tender stem. Next is thorns. Thorns, where the axillary buds they modify to hard woody pointed structures. Okay, axillary buds modify to what? Hard woody pointed structures. This will prevent, these are the best protecting agents from grazing herbivores. Best examples, citrus and bougainvillea. These are the best examples. Be it tendrils or thorns. Which part is modifying, ma? Bud regions, be it axillary buds or terminal buds. Next is phylloclades. In arid regions, some plants modify their stems to what? Fleshy flattened opuntia, okay, in arid regions, desert regions, wherein some plants will modify stem structures into flattened, fleshy flattened opuntia, fleshy cylindrical euphorbia and needle like structures casuarina. Remember that fleshy flattened structures, stem is modified to fleshy flattened structure is opuntia, stem is modified to fleshy cylindrical structure euphorbia, stem is modified to needle like structures casuarina. Here these are the branches of unlimited growth, okay. Phylloclade, these are the stems of unlimited growth, they contain chlorophyll, the stems also contain chlorophyll and they carry out photosynthesis. Here in the phylloclades, the leaves are modified to thorns, leaves are modified to thorns and stem contains chlorophyll, conducts photosynthesis, and here stems are of unlimited growth, okay, they are of unlimited growth. It can be fleshy flattened opuntia, fleshy cylindrical euphorbia, needle like structures casuarina. And then you see here leaves are reduced to spines or scaly leaves to reduce transpiration. Clear, right ma? Next, cladophylls. Cladophylls, these are the green branches of limited growth. Phylloclades, you have unlimited growth. Cladophylls, these are the green branches of what? Limited growth. These are modified again. Cladophylls are modified again to perform what? Photosynthesis. Here in this region also leaves are modified to scales or spines. Examples for cladophylls include what? Asparagus and ruscus. Okay, asparagus and ruscus, these are the examples for cladophylls. I hope the difference between phylloclade and cladophyll is clear, no? Phylloclade is a modification in arid region plants. Fleshy flattened opuntia, fleshy cylindrical euphorbia, needle like structures casuarina. Cladophylls, wherein branches of limited growth are present, this is for photosynthesis. These leaves are modified to what? Spines or scales. Okay, examples asparagus and ruscus. Next is bulbil type of stem modification. In some plants, vegetative buds or floral buds will store food materials, okay. The shoot buds like vegetative buds and floral buds, they will store the food material. Such a modification is called as bulbil type of modification. If vegetative bud is storing the food material, it is called as Dioscorea. Floral buds are storing food material, so it is called as agave, okay. Vegetative bud storing food, that is Dioscorea. Floral bud storing food, that is agave. When they detach from the parent plants, they develop adventitious roots, okay. When they detach from the parent plants, they develop adventitious roots, they help in vegetative reproduction, okay. They help in what? Vegetative reproduction. I hope this is clear, right? Bulbils. So, what are the subaerial stem modifications that we have? Subaerial and aerial stem modifications we have gone through, ma. Aerial stem modifications, first is tendrils, grapevines and gourds. Gourds examples cucumber, pumpkin and watermelon. Thorns, citrus and bougainvillea. Tendril on thorn is what modification of stem? Auxiliary bud or terminal bud is modified. Phylloclades, fleshy flattened opuntia, cylindrical euphorbia, needle like structures casuarina. These are the branches of limited growth. Cladophylls are the branches of unlimited growth, wherein these are the green branches which performs photosynthesis. Both in phylloclades and cladophylls, the leaves are modified to thorns or scales. Cladophylls examples asparagus and ruscus. Bulbils, in some plants vegetative buds or floral buds will store food material. Vegetative buds include Dioscorea, floral buds agave, okay, and adventitious roots will develop from these plants. So, here you see in this single slide we will recall all the examples. After writing all the examples, I will give you 1 or 2 minutes time, just take screenshot of it. Remember that it is enough, ma. Even in root modifications, the same we are doing with stem modification. Stem tuber, best example is what? Potato, Helianthus tuberosus. Helianthus tuberosus. Fine. Rhizome, where it is branched and grows horizontally or parallelly to the ground. Example, ginger and curcuma. fine, and comb. Comb includes what examples? Amorphophallus and colocasia. Amorphophallus and colocasia. Bulb, we have simple tunic and compound tunic, but altogether bulb examples are what ma? Where stem is modified to disc-like structures, leaves are arranged as concentric scaly leaves around that reduced stem. Where in comb, this is unbranched, where it grows vertically beneath the ground. Unbranched and it grows vertically beneath the ground. Modifications, you have to remember, we can expect a statement based question. So here in bulb, what are the examples beta? Onion, lily and garlic. Fine. And here for runner, what are the examples ma? Runner which has prostrate branches with long internodal length, where it spreads to new niches. When older plant parts die, it spreads into new niches and develops new plants, and at the nodal regions roots will arise. At the node, roots arise. So, for runner examples include oxalis and grass. Fine. Stolon, where the stem grows under the ground, okay, just touches the ground and arches upwards, right. Examples for stolon include jasmine and nerium. Fine. For offset, examples include pistia and ecornia. This is the modification which is seen in hydrophytes, wherein the offset modification has short internodal length and it is just one internode. At each nodal point, tuft of roots and rosette of leaves you can observe. Next, sucker. Sucker examples include what ma? Banana, chrysanthemum. Fine. Next, stem tendrils. Stem tendrils, if auxiliary bud is modifying to tendril, examples are gourds. Include cucumber, pumpkin and watermelon. Fine. And thorns. Thorns examples include what beta? Citrus and bougainvillea. Fine. Phylloclades. Phylloclades in the arid regions, the stem is modified to fleshy flattened, fleshy cylindrical or needle like structures. Examples include opuntia, euphorbia and casuarina. Okay. Next is cladophylls, where stems are modified to green structures, green branches which conducts photosynthesis, and these are branches of limited growth. Examples include asparagus and ruscus. Next is bulbils. The shoot buds will store food materials. Based on vegetative buds or floral buds, we have two examples. If vegetative bud is storing the food material, vegetative bud example is agave. Agave is the example. If floral bud is storing the food material, Dioscorea. Fine. Vegetative bud or floral bud, that is Dioscorea. Yeah. Fine, right ma? Take a screenshot of it. Done? Yes. Next is leaf structure. So, this structure you will observe it in anatomy of flowering plants, where you see clearly. So, in anatomy of flowering plants, this is the region which shows shoot apical meristematic zone. Okay. From shoot apical meristematic zone to the tip region, you can see leaf primordia. This leaf primordia later matures to what? Leaf. Okay. And at the axil region, from the upper portion of the main stem and the branch, an axil region is there. At that axil region, what is formed with a axillary bud, and at the middle regions you can see vascular tissue. Here you can observe the leaf is what? Green flattened lateral structures which are borne on the node of the stem. Okay, leaf is green flattened lateral structures which are borne on the nodes of the stem. They are arranged in what order? Acropetal order. Acropetal order, which means mature leaves are at the bottom and younger leaves are at the top. So, they are arranged in what? Acropetal order. This is important vegetative organs. Leaves are important vegetative organs for photosynthesis. This is the general description, and here you have to know the labelings properly. And shoot apical meristematic region is present at the apex. Remember that. Labelings are very important, and then we will look into the parts of the leaf. We need to address 3 parts of the leaves majorly. One is petiole. Petiole is the flexible region which attaches or holds the leaf on the stem. That is the first part. And second is leaf lamina or leaf blade. Okay, lamina or leaf blade. Okay, lamina or leaf blade, wherein this lamina or leaf blade will have a midrib at the center. Okay, leaf base, lamina or leaf blade, and petiole. These are the 3 regions or parts. Okay, first is petiole, next lamina or leaf blade, and leaf base. These are the 3 regions of the leaf. Look at the parts carefully. First is what? Leaf base. Leaf base bears stipules. Can you see here? Small bract-like structures which gives additional support to the petiole to hold the leaf. Those are what? Stipules which are present at the leaf base. And in monocots, if you see, there is a modification of leaf base, wherein leaf base will expand into a sheath. This sheath covers the stem partially or wholly. Okay, in monocots the leaf base will expand, and this leaf base expands into a complete sheath. This sheath covers the stem partially or wholly. Examples: leguminous plants. Okay, leguminous plants, or in leguminous plants if you see, leaf base is swollen. That swollen leaf base is called as pulvinous leaf base. In leguminous plants, leaf base is swollen. Swollen leaf base is called as pulvinous leaf base. Second is what? Petiole. Petiole will expose the lamina or leaf blade to the light, and here long thin flexible petioles are present. This petiole will give cooling effect to the leaf, okay, which brings fresh air to the leaf surface. This brings fresh air to the leaf surface. Next is leaf blade or lamina. The expanded part of the leaf which has veins and veinlets is called as leaf blade or lamina. Okay. So, here middle prominent vein is called as, in that leaf blade, the middle prominent vein is called as what? Midrib. Fine. Veins provide rigidity to the veinlets. This provide rigidity to the veinlets, and veinlets are the proper channels for the transport of water and minerals. This transports water and minerals. So, from this slide what you have to remember, 3 major portions of the leaf, that is leaf base, petiole, and leaf blade or lamina, right ma? In leaf base, how it is modified in monocots? It is modified into a large sheath like structures which cover the stem partially or wholly. Okay, this covers the stem, leaf base covers the stem partially or wholly like that. And in leguminous plants, leaf base is swollen, you will call it as pulvinous leaf base. And in petiole, this is the this exposes lamina to the light. This is flexible and it gives cooling effect. Leaf blade or lamina, this is the middle prominent midrib is present, to which veinlets are attached. This channels for what? Transport of water, minerals and food. Next is venation. What is venation? Arrangement of veins and veinlets in lamina of leaf is called as venation. As such, we have two types of venation, reticulate venation and parallel venation. In reticulate venation, first midrib will be there, central midrib, to which veinlets are arranged in a network like manner. This is reticulate venation. Reticulate venation, you can see it in dicots or dicot leaf. Fine. Parallel venation, wherein the vein midrib is there, right? Other veinlets are parallel to each other. Okay, they are arranged parallel to each other. This is parallel venation. This is observed in what, ma? Monocot leaf. Monocot leaf. Okay, amongst reticulate venation and parallel venation, which is advanced, which is more advanced for the translocation of water and minerals, if that is your question, then your answer should be parallel venation is advanced venation arrangement, advanced arrangement of veins and veinlets. This is advanced than reticulate venation, advanced for conduction of water and minerals. Remember this point, it is very important, ma. Next, types of leaves. Types of leaves based on the incisions that are created with respect to midrib. Okay, simple leaf where midrib will not touch the tip of the leaf. Okay, midrib will not touch the tip of the leaf and no incisions are made. No incisions are made by midrib. Okay, examples include hibiscus, pear and mango. Okay, examples include hibiscus, pear and mango. Next is compound leaf. Compound leaf, we have two types, pinnately compound leaf and palmately compound leaf. Here incisions will touch the tip of the leaf. Incisions touch the tip of the leaf. Fine, incisions touch the tip of the leaf and here midrib forms the main veinlet. That midrib is what? Rachis. Okay, rachis. Midrib is rachis and over this main rachis what are arranged? Leaflets are arranged on the rachis. Leaflets are arranged on the rachis. Examples, neem and tamarind. And then at the tip of the midrib all leaflets will arrange. This is called as palmately compound leaf. Okay, leaflets are arranged on the main midrib in sequence. This is pinnately compound. At the tip of the midrib leaflets are arranged as a whorl. This is called as palmately compound. Examples for pinnately compound leaf includes what, ma? Neem and tamarind. Examples for palmately compound leaf is silk cotton. Examples of simple leaf is hibiscus, pear and mango. You have to remember the examples at any cost and the definitions of that particular type of leaf. Okay. Now phyllotaxy. What is phyllotaxy? Arrangement of leaves and leaflets on the stem is called as phyllotaxy. In simple terms, arrangement of leaves and leaflets is called as phyllotaxy. As such, we have first type is alternate phyllotaxy where each leaflet arises from node. From a single node, single leaflet will arise. Okay, single leaflet arises from a single node, that is alternate phyllotaxy. Examples include hibiscus rosa sinensis, China rose, mustard, sunflower plants. Next, opposite phyllotaxy where two leaves arise from each node. Okay, from each node two leaves arise in the opposite pattern. This is opposite phyllotaxy. Examples include calotropis and guava. Okay. Next, from each nodal point more than two leaves arise. More than two leaves arise from each node. This is called as world phyllotaxy. Examples, Nerium and Alstonia. These are the examples. Okay. Third is world phyllotaxy, that is Nerium and Alstonia. So, you are clear with this now? Alternate phyllotaxy, Hibiscus rosa sinensis, mustard and sunflower. Okay. Opposite phyllotaxy examples, Calotropis and guava. World phyllotaxy examples, Nerium and Alstonia. Next, primary functions of leaf. What are the primary functions of leaf? Primary functions of leaf includes photosynthesis, transpiration and gaseous exchange. Okay. Photosynthesis, transpiration and gaseous exchange, these are the primary functions of a leaf. Apart from these functions, if other functions are performed based on the modification of the plant, we have leaf modifications like leaf tendrils, leaf spines, storage organs, phyllodes, insectivorous leaves and those leaves which promote vegetative propagation. Let us deal in detail one by one. First is what ma? Leaf tendrils. In leaf tendrils, if you see, whole leaf will modify to a tendril for climbing, that is observed in wild pea. Okay, wild pea and sweet pea, two modifications are addressed over here. One is wild pea wherein whole leaf modifies to tendril. Okay, whole leaf modifies to tendril for climbing, and here stipules will become foliaceous to perform photosynthesis. Okay. What are performing photosynthesis? Stipules, wherein whole leaf is modifying to tendril and here stipules are performing photosynthesis. Important descriptions, please take a note of it. Okay, we can expect a statement based question. Next is sweet pea or edible pea. Okay, sweet pea or edible pea, wherein upper leaflets are modified into tendril for climbing. Okay, here only upper leaflets are modified into tendril for climbing. In wild pea, whole leaf is modified and stipules will become foliaceous to perform photosynthesis. Clear, right ma? Any doubt anywhere with leaf tendrils? And next, in stem tendrils, the what is modifying? Either axillary bud or terminal bud, right? But here either whole leaf or upper parts of the leaflets are getting modified. Clear, right ma? And then here you see leaf spines. Leaf spines, here leaves are modified to spines. This you will observe in those stem modifications. What is that stem modification? Wherein stem is becoming chlorophyllous and performing photosynthesis and leaves are reduced to spines. Those modifications are phylloclades. Phylloclades, okay, where you can take these as examples like Opuntia and Euphorbia, where stem is modifying to Opuntia and Euphorbia, where stem is modifying to fleshy flattened, fleshy cylindrical structures, leaves are reduced to spines here. So, leaves are reduced to spines, this is to reduce transpiration. This you will observe in arid regions. This will protect the plants from browsing animals. Okay, leaf spines modification, this will protect the plant from browsing animals. Examples include aloe vera and cactus. Okay, these are the examples of leaf spines. Next is storage leaves. Storage leaves include what? Storage organs, okay, wherein we have learnt, right, bulb modification, underground stem modification, where stem is reduced to the disc shaped structure and parallel to it what are there? Concentric scaly leaves. So, here both stem modification and leaf modification is observed. Leaf modification is observed. Stem modification and leaf modification, wherein you can observe last leaves are what? Dry leaves, and in between you have fleshy leaves. As such, both in simple tunic and compound tunic, you can observe leaves are storage organs here. Here leaves are modified to scaly leaves, concentric scaly leaves. Concentric scaly leaves. Fine, right ma? And succulent leaves you can see in aloe vera. Okay, aloe vera has succulent leaves which stores water and mucilage. And then phyllodes, okay, phyllodes where leaves are pinnately compound and leaflets are short lived, small and short lived. Okay, Here leaves are pinnately compound and phylloid. You should not get confused between these two modifications, phyllocyclade of stem and phylloid of leaf. This is a different modification ma, where leaves are pinnately compound and leaflets are short lived over here. Here petioles are green colored. Can you see here? Petioles are green colored and they perform photosynthesis. Leaves are reduced and short lived, and petiole part is swollen and it conducts photosynthesis. Petiole is expanded, green, and it conducts photosynthesis. Example is Australian acacia. This is the example. Australian acacia is the example. And then insectivorous plants. Insectivorous plants, very important, wherein we have learnt in plant kingdom also that not, and in biological classification also under the kingdom Plantae, wherein few plants are insectivorous and parasitic, of which examples, best example is pitcher plant, that is Nepenthes, and Dionaea Venus flytrap. So here insectivorous plants, the complete parts of the leaves are modified to different structures, where modified leaves will trap insects for what? Nitrogen requirement. So here if you see the upper petiole here, upper petiole is modified to tendril, lower petiole is modified to a phylloid, fine, which is swollen or expanded, performs photosynthesis. Next, picture, lamina is modified. Lamina is what? Leaf blade. Lamina is modified to picture. Each part modification is important ma. Just take a screenshot and have an additional note over here. Okay. Lamina is modified to picture, and stipules. Stipules which are present at the leaf base. Stipules which are present at the leaf base, they are expanded for photosynthesis. Stipules are expanded for photosynthesis, and apex of the leaf is modified to lid. Okay, leaf apex is modified to lid. So what are the modifications that we have observed over here? First is upper part of the petiole is modified to what ma? Tendril. Okay, upper part of the leaf is modified to tendril. Next, petiole, lower petiole is modified to phylloid. Lamina is modified to pitcher to trap the insects. This is the modification of lamina, and stipules are expanded to perform photosynthesis. Leaf apex is modified to lid. So whenever the insects are in close proximity, the lid will open, which is the leaf apex. Insects are trapped into the pitcher. Clear, right? This is about insectivorous plant. And next is reproductive leaves, wherein leaves modify to help in vegetative propagation. Okay, leaves modified to help in vegetative propagation, wherein bryophyllum, best example of reproductive leaves is bryophyllum, which is epiphyllous. It has epiphyllous buds. Bryophyllum has epiphyllous buds like this, which arise from the notches of the leaf. Okay, bryophyllum has epiphyllous buds which arise from the notches of the leaves. This epiphyllous buds will develop adventitious roots. Epiphyllous buds will develop into adventitious roots, and small plantlets are formed over here. This will detach from the parent body, and this grows into a new individual. So the best example of reproductive leaves is bryophyllum. What type of buds are arising in bryophyllum? Epiphyllous buds. In what regions of the leaf? Notches of the leaves. Clear? This epiphyllous buds will develop adventitious roots, and they will detach from the parent plant body. This is the reproductive leaf modification. And at last, once we will recall the examples completely ma. First, leaf tendrils. What are the examples for leaf tendrils that we have seen? Wild pea and sweet pea, right? Wild pea, wherein complete leaf is modified, whole leaf is modified to tendril. Whereas in sweet pea, only upper part of the leaflets are modified to tendril. Upper leaflets are modified to tendril. Here when whole leaf is modified, what is performing photosynthesis? stipules, right? And then leaf spines. Leaf spines, you can see it in Opuntia, Euphorbia, and few more examples we have seen, right? Cactus. Storage organs, bulb, underground stem modification. Here parallel modification for stem is what ma? Phylloid. In phylloid stem modification, sorry, phylloclade. Here stem modification is phylloclade. Okay. Storage organs parallel stem modification is what? Underground stem modification, that is bulb. Okay. And here concentric scaly leaves are present, storage organs. Example is what? Aloe and onion, garlic. Phylloid leaf modification is Australian acacia, wherein petiole is conducting photosynthesis. Fine. Insectivorous leaves. Insectivorous leaves, Venus flytrap, and Nepenthes are the examples, right ma? Here also stipules perform photosynthesis, petiole also, lower part of the petiole and stipules. Vegetative propagation example is bryophyllum. Propagation is passed on through epiphyllous buds. Bryophyllum. Clear, right? So, these are the leaf modifications. You can take a screenshot of it with parallel stem modifications. Take a screenshot and revise ma. So, at the end of vegetative characteristics from this chapter Morphology of Flowering Plants, I would like to say you these keynotes and end this vegetative characteristics from this chapter. First point is ma, regions of root is important. Second, root modifications that we have exercised, and examples of taproot system, fibrous and adventitious root system. Second is shoot modifications or stem modifications, all the three underground, subaerial and aerial. Those screenshots and which part is modifying to what is important. Third is leaf parts, about leaf base, its modification in monocots and leguminous plants, and then petiole, leaf blade. Types of the leaves and phyllotaxy, simple leaf, compound leaf, pinnately compound, palmately compound with examples, that is types of leaves is important with examples, and phyllotaxy with examples. Lastly, leaf modifications with clear points like what part is modifying in actual sense and which is performing photosynthesis, and examples finally. For examples though 3 screenshots enough, you can watch my previous class. 3 screenshots of root modification, stem modification, leaf modifications. Once quickly revise which part is modified to what, and that is enough. Clear, right? So, this is all about vegetative characteristics from Morphology of Flowering Plants ma. It will just take 10 to 15 minutes for you people to revise. Okay? Have a clear revision and keep that aside. In our next class after floral characteristics and families, we will solve all the EAPCET previous year questions from this chapter on whole. Okay? So, that is all for today's session beta. Thank you.